Well, for me, the situation was actually quite clear, and that was that the city of Oka wanted to expand the golf course because they had a 9-hole golf course. They wanted to expand it to an 18-hole golf course.
Yeah.
The land that they chose to expand it was land that was very important and was considered sacred for the native people living in the area. Okay, the Mohawk natives.
It's Mohawk land. It's our land. There's a little bit left. They're sucking the marrow out of our bones.
Out of desperation, I believe, I don't have the full details and everything, but I believe out of desperation, what ended up happening was that the Mohawks, they set up roadblocks at the Oka region, and the Mohawks also set up roadblocks on the Mercier Bridge in order to protest what the city of Oka was trying to do. So the things deteriorated when the SQ police arrived. Because what happened was the SQ weren't actually prepared. They weren't trained for dealing with something like this and everything. A police officer was killed, and once that happened, the government realized that situation was getting out of hand. Situation was not in control. So that's when they called in the military.
Tear gas, and I started watching band members that I know running towards me, trying to get away from it. And not long after that, I heard a pop song, and then it was just all hell broke loose. Got news that a police officer had been shot and killed, and we just looked at around the pickup truck. We were sitting on the hood, and said, "Oh my God, you know what's going to happen now? They're going to send the army on us."
When we were called in, I was actually on leave. I was here at home on leave, and I got a phone call from the battalion orderly room. Basically stating that we're deploying, so I had to get back to base. So went back to base, and then once we got to base, we got our orders. We found out exactly where we were going, what was going on, what we were doing. We got a little bit of background history on what was happening, but not very much because we didn't really have very much time. And then we rolled out. The deployment was rushed and last minute because we didn't expect to be called in. The War Measures Act and everything, and the Emergencies Act hadn't been used since the October crisis in what was it? I think 1970, when the FLQ crisis. So we didn't expect this. Nobody expected. And when the government called in, we had to move quickly. So we deployed very quickly. Didn't have much time. I'd say the population was a little bit divided. Okay. But the majority of people just wanted it. They just wanted it done. They just wanted it ended because it was an inconvenience.
Okay.
And that's the part that I find a little bit tragic, is the fact that these people are losing sacred ground. They're losing something that's very important, very special to them, for a golf course of all things. And most people are kind of callous to it because the fact that they closed the Mercier Bridge and a bunch of roads and everything is an inconvenience to them. But it just shows you that that's what our society is. People don't really care about what's important. All they care about is what's convenient, and they'll jump onto any bandwagon which is a convenient at that moment. And then once it's no longer convenient, well, they jump off.
Yeah.
Well, there's a few messages that we can walk away from this with. One of the messages is that the only reason something deteriorates and gets to this point and everything is because there's a lack of willingness to listen. Right? So if people can talk and listen to each other, not hear each other, listen to each other, because there's a difference between hearing and listening. But if people can talk and listen to each other, things don't usually deteriorate to this point. They only deteriorate when you only hear, you don't listen. The other takeaway that I would say on this is that, if you want people to listen to you, you have to present your argument in a professional manner, with facts, and you can't force your opinion, you can't force your ideology, you can't force your ideas down somebody's throat, because when you try to do that, they're going to fight back, they're going to kick back. Okay, and we can see that on both sides of this argument. We see the Oka Township trying to force the natives to accept the fact that they're going to lose this land for a golf course. Okay, and then you see the natives trying to force everybody else to understand that no, you can't do this to us. It doesn't work that way. You know, the minute you're trying to use force to change someone's opinion, they're going to fight back. You know, and another takeaway that I guess you can take on this is that things could have gone really, really badly. A lot of people could have died. A lot of bloodshed could have happened. And the reason why it didn't happen was because when they sent us in and the military was there, we exercised a lot of control, we exercised a lot of patience, and we exercised a lot of professionalism. Were there violent interchanges between us? Absolutely, there were. I'm not going to lie about it. There were. You know, there was violence on lines and everything, and there were some violent exchanges and everything. However, it was always within a certain measure of control. We never allowed emotion to get the better of us. We never allowed it. You know, all the taunting, all the forcing, all the screaming, the insults, the yelling, the swearing and all that, we just brushed it off. We didn't let it get to us. That's what the SQ can learn from this. Because the reason why they broke out into a firefight with the natives, and the reason why an SQ officer died, is because they didn't do that.